Before we get into our story today, Nicholas Wilson, WV5RM. Today, I'll be saying Mystique a lot, homeboy. Hope you're ready. My name is Dorian. This is SCM Comics. We're continuing our coverage of X-Force with number 6. Our story starts off X days later aboard X-Force's Blackbird. You have to say X-Force Blackbird because everybody has a Blackbird now. You have a blue speech bubble that's pretty much telling Force that grief is necessary. And then you have a red speech bubble that's pretty much saying,
"Stop being a bitch and come on."
13 days ago, they were in the Mariana Trench fighting what looks like the Kraken. I'm going to say it's Kraken because it looks like the Kraken. And then 9 days ago, they were in Numidia fighting some really, really big ants. Somebody better call Ant-Man. And then on the next page, we see that his angel on his right is Storm, and the devil on his left is Mystique. Now, if I don't know what to do, the last thing I'm going to do is make a VR simulation of my exes, because they live in Texas. Alright, I'll stop. 3 days ago in Tibet, this big huge cube is crashing to Earth, and obviously X-Force is the only people that can stop it. Rachel's like, whatever you plan on doing, Forge, you better do it now because I'm running out of energy. And he's strapping something to Tank. All of a sudden, Tank takes off. He gets an additional boost from Rachel, and then he goes face first into whatever the hell that cube was. And I'm assuming that he destroyed it. Pretty much, Forge is conflicted. He does feel some kind of way for the death of Surge, even though when it happened, he acted like he didn't. And instead of talking to normal people, he decides to talk to two VR boo things that he used to have, Storm and Mystique. And the conversation is going exactly how you would think it would go with these two. Storm is like, yes, you need to grieve, and you need to mourn the loss of Surge. And Mystique's like, you know what, it's cool, pour out a little liquor, let's move on. But then out of nowhere, they're all interrupted by Sage. And she's like, whew, this how you dealing with it, huh? Not healthy, but at least you are mourning the loss of Surge. And she said, oh yeah, by the way, I'm at your home in Texas. Your security's horrible. I got through your firewall in like less than a second. If you want, I can help you with that. Forge is like, I'll take care of it. Well, you won't. So then she's like, after the death of Surge, and I quit. I started doing some digging, and I don't think the fractures are natural occurrences. She says, this is Dr. Corazon Estrada. Anytime I hear the name Estrada, the first thing that pops in my head is Umaga's old manager, El Mando Alejandro Estrada. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, this lady pretty much had a PhD from MIT before she was 20. She's an expert in quantum physics, but also in Hermeticism. Porter's like, Hermeticism? The surgeon's like, yes, alchemy, where magic pretends to be science. Everywhere there was a fracture, she was there just a few hours before. But that's not even the interesting part. She's been popping up to these different places, and she shouldn't be, because she's dead. You see, when she's not being an egghead, she got the thing for fast cars, and she drove one right off a cliff, right into the Mediterranean Sea. So the Forge is like, she looks pretty good to be a corpse. And Sage is like, no. But then all of a sudden the lady gets up and starts walking over and is like, I can answer your questions for you. They're like, what the hell? You're not supposed to be talking to us. She goes, you see, I met a boy, and Corazon Estrada did die that day. And now the she-devil lives. That's the translation from Spanish to English. Don't ask me to say that in Spanish, please. And let me just preface by saying that they are in a VR simulator, so she shouldn't be able to do this. But again, alchemy. So she says, punishment, and a hex goes on everybody. When I mean everybody, everybody. And she also takes control of Storm and Mystique simulations. And then these two do what they do best. Storm strikes Forge with lightning, and Mystique stabs Sage in the shoulder. Again, this is a VR simulator, but yet and still, Sage is bleeding on the outside. And the she-devil is sitting back eating popcorn. First thing I thought about when I saw that is, T.O., you better get your popcorn ready. So Sage, being a mutant supercomputer that she is, says some kind of hacker phrase. Next thing you know, Mystique is talking to ones and zeros and is out of here. Which pisses off the she-devil, who is huge, and she throws her popcorn at Sage. That's also huge. She wraps her up in like some kind of spell and goes, in Spanish, "You do not matter. You are nothing. Only he matters." I'm assuming she's talking about Forge. So Sage, in Spanish, goes, "Say whatever you want to. Code is code, and I know code, and I know yours." And then the She-Devil just makes her disappear, just like Sage did Mystique. And while that's going on, Storm is letting out years of aggression right on Forge. Even though this is a VR simulator, if he could feel everything, Forge should have been dead like 5 lightning strikes ago. But then Forge finally comes to his senses and is like, "Look, you got some really strong software. But this is my hardware, and I created this. You're in my world." And all of a sudden, everything goes black. Storm disappears, and the She-Devil goes, "You know what? He might be worth it. He might have been right about you." And then she disappears. So Forrest comes out of the VR simulator. He yells for Tank to get his butt in the back just to see that the She-Devil is now working on Betsy and Rachel.